Hi guys, it's Aragon here, and today we are in WolfQuest with GemGleam. It has been a minute since I played. Last time I played was when I recorded Sparrowwing's episode. So I think we need to go out for a hunt, if I'm not mistaken. So I probably should get the pups woofed in. I don't remember if we ended up hunting or not. I don't see a carcass anywhere on our little mini-map navigation. So I think we're going to have to go out and hunt really quickly. And I'm curious if Calico is going to just come with us or not. Looks like there's a scent pretty close by too, so that's very nice. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying these episodes. I don't know if anyone watching is watching all of the episodes or maybe just certain episodes, but thank you so much for being here if you are watching. I've been having a lot of fun making these videos, even though I'm just doing it for fun. And it's been a challenge trying to figure out how to navigate recording in the house again. Because obviously I can only record at certain times, so I've just been trying to navigate that and see what kind of happens there. I definitely didn't think I was going to be able to record this video, but I got extremely lucky with the timing today, so I am able to get in and record this video. I don't know if there's going to be a video next week or not. I definitely won't be able to pre-record any videos, at least not today. And I've also been working a lot on my artwork. I am an artist, so I've been painting and doing other things that also require a lot of time and that I can't always get to when I am at home with my kids. So I think we're gonna go for this one here. I just want to try and maybe break her off from the herd a little bit without getting ran over, preferably. And it's been a minute. Ooh, okay. I guess we're gonna go for her. I definitely want to try. I guess we can go in for a bite with Calico here. She's pretty low on health. That's very nice. Very nice indeed. Let's... I don't want to kill her just yet. Hopefully my my little shortcut keys for my emotes and stuff are the same. I think I made them the same as the other computer, so we should be fine. But we'll find out, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this elk to the den. I don't know. Usually I try to cut this part out. My first few videos I definitely did not cut this part out of my videos. I would just kind of fast forward it because I had seen other people do their videos like that, so I thought maybe that's what I wanted to do. And then after doing it a few times for a few of my videos, I decided I didn't like doing it that way. And I preferred to just cut most of it out and show, you know, just the taking down of the elk mostly. I don't want to take her down too far away from the den. So if you're new here, hi. I'm not the greatest WolfQuest player, and these videos are actually my first time playing in accurate. I usually, on my own, would only play in challenging. And to where I haven't played in a while, I've kind of gotten a little bit rusty. I felt like I was doing pretty good for a while there. But I always try to get my elk as close to the den as possible. It just makes it a lot easier because predators don't come and eat from the carcass. and it's close enough to the den that even if you have to wolf your pups back into the den to go out and get food, you're still super close, and it just makes it so nice and convenient. So we definitely want to get her closer to the den, but Calico here, she's wanting to go straight in, and I don't want her to. Just trying to stay back a little bit here. Sometimes you can get the elk to chase you home. I've never really done that. I've had them chase me a little ways, but I've never just straight up had one chase me all the way to my den. That just never... I never trusted that method. I always felt like I would fail and get killed. And of course, with my accurate wolves, I don't want to get them killed. And I'm super excited for the next episode that'll be coming out for Crofing, because I'm going to do a little montage of all of our collectibles and dropping them off at the lake. Or I guess it's not a lake, it's like a little island in a river. And I'm pretty excited to record that, actually. And that's something I can record the whole first part at any time during the day, because all I'm doing is making a montage for him. So that part will be really, really easy. Okay, Calico needs to back off here. It almost would be beneficial to have her just like go back to the den. But I don't want to do that, because I don't want the pups to come out of the den. I guess we're close enough now. It's not that big of a deal, but I definitely would have preferred to... Okay. I was gonna let Calico do it. I love how she just lays down afterwards. Yeah, this is close enough. We definitely will have to wolf the pups into the den to come and get food. I don't know if predators are going to come to it when it's this far out. I guess we'll see about that. We'll see how it works for us today. And probably, yeah, all of our territory is looking good still, because we did just barely have our pups. So everything is looking pretty decent. I don't think we'll have too much to worry about today. At least I hope not. So definitely let's get some food back over here. Sometimes I actually will, when the carcass is that close, sometimes I'll actually tear it apart and bring the chunks back to the den. And then the chunks just kind of lay around for a little while. But I feel like that's more beneficial when the pups are able to actually eat the chunks of carcass by themselves. And it looks like we have 5 pups. I couldn't remember how many, but that's because I do remember Calico's a lower diversity. I don't remember if it's 1 or 2. I think it was 1. I think she's a 1-star diversity. Let's see. Oh, okay, it's 2 stars. So that's not too bad. And her coat is 992M twin. So potentially in the future, if I ever make another wolf, I might want to play with that coat color. But honestly, I'm hoping to do a legacy playthrough with GemGleam. And I'm hoping that one of his pups will actually grow up to look like Calico. And we can play as that pup at some point in time. I don't like hearing other wolves howling that close to my den. We did take a lot of that territory from them. Is she not gonna feed the pups? Okay, I see how it is. She seems to be favoring tortoise pup over here a little bit. That's okay. And you will have to excuse if you hear barking at any points in the background. This mic is pretty good about not picking up noises like that, but my dogs do bark when they hear the wolf pups whining and stuff, so definitely something to keep in mind. I don't see anything going on. I think I'm gonna go out and try to eat from the carcass. I would like Calico to stay behind. I don't know if she will or not, but hopefully she will. I want to bring another chunk back, fill up, and finish resting up since we're only at like half wakefulness. And thankfully Calico did stay behind, so... Okay, and I think after we wake up, we're probably going to want to head out and do some of the territory marking. Well, looks like we actually have to go fend for some of our territory. Make sure all the pups get back in their den. I don't know if Calico's going to go with us. She seems to be enjoying her sleep right now. I still think it's funny that she just crossed all the way across the clearing to go feed tortoise pup. Okay. So if she doesn't come with me, I guess the pups can just come back out, but... It's actually honestly easier sometimes when your mate doesn't come with you to these things, especially with hunting. I actually do prefer to hunt by myself, just for the fact that I don't want the elk to be taken down too far away from the den site. And that's just personal preference. Everyone plays this game differently, but I think it's so much easier when you don't have to constantly leave to go to your carcass and get food, and then you run the risk of potentially there being a predator like a bear or a cougar, which can do a lot of damage to you when you're trying to fight it off of a carcass. So I just don't really think it's worth it to take an elk down far away. Obviously, there's circumstances in which you don't really get much of a choice, but that's just how I like to play the game. And during my young hunters part of the playthrough, I usually get... Let's see. Bull females. Oh, for some reason it's not biting. And we're just running in circles. Oh yeah, the collars. So I don't know if anyone has seen, but the WolfQuest devs are actually planning to make it so that your wolves can randomly get collars put on them. Also, that felt way too easy. So did the elk hunt. So I'm wondering if, because I switched computers, it's inaccurate. Maybe, which wolf is that? I guess we can give them names really fast. 2000 is the one that we want to check out. No, she's 3 years old. That's interesting. Usually, a wolf's health doesn't drop that quickly. So maybe she already had some sort of injury or something. But I'm gonna quickly just give her and her sister a name really fast. Okay, so I just went ahead and named them Aspen Leaf and Dark Pelt. Just random little quick names. But yeah, I do find that very odd how quickly her health was dropping. Not really sure why. I guess we can actually, well, I don't think we need to mark this hex. But I think I'm going to hurry and grab these few hexes right here, just while I'm already out this way. It'll make things so much easier. And GemGleam is also only a year? He's 2 years old now, because he was 1 when we first came into the map and had him find a mate. So it's very interesting how easy that was for being inaccurate. But as I was saying, there is a patch that they're going to release. It's in beta right now, and they had it set to where you could sign up for that beta. I'm not sure if that's still open or not. But basically, when you go to sleep, you'll get a special dream. And when you wake up after having that special dream, I think it was like 2 to 3 of your wolf pups, or like you or your wolf, like anyone in the pack, I think, has the chance of being collared, which I think is pretty cool. I don't love collars personally, so I don't always like to put them on, but for gameplay purposes and like storytelling, I think it's actually a pretty neat idea, and I love that there is a chance of that happening. I'm just hoping that the chance isn't so high that it happens to like all of your litters or anything like that. I'm hoping it only happens every once in a while. Okay, I need to keep going this way. Yeah, usually I cut all of this kind of stuff out, even the like marking territory and stuff. I feel like it's just not very interesting, and it takes a really long time to run around to the different hexes and things. So usually I cut all of this stuff out, but I guess let me know if it's something that you guys like to watch or not. Because I definitely don't want to cut too much out of my videos. If there's certain parts of a video that people like to see, I can definitely leave those parts in. Or if there's certain parts that people don't like of my videos, I can go ahead and cut those out. I have since tried to cut my videos down in time so that they're not too long for people to watch. And also just for editing purposes, being a mom, it's kind of hard sometimes to find the time to do these things. So I think right there, see, I'm finding a lot of prey too, it seems like. I feel like my game looks better too on this computer. It just looks a little more like refined maybe. I'm actually not in the right spot. I thought I was in that end hex and I'm not. So we'll just quickly go and grab that. I seriously love this area on this map. It is so beautiful. This whole map is beautiful. I do need to check. Maybe it looks like my rendering distance feels a little bit off. I could be wrong though. Like I said, it's kind of been a minute since I played. It's been like 2 weeks, I would say, because a lot has happened since the recording of my last episode. Like I said in Sparrowwing's episode, I can't really record unless my kids are asleep, so it puts a huge strain on my time and when I can record and how much I can record. I wanted to pre-record a lot of episodes the day that I did Sparrowwing's episode, but that wasn't able to happen. So I haven't played, like I said, in 2 weeks. Oops. which is kind of fine. It kind of works to be a little bit more caught up with my videos, but I still would like to pre-record at least 1 or 2 just because it makes it so much easier to not have to worry about it. And I am just doing this for fun, so it's not like I have to record and upload a video every week, but I've honestly been enjoying it. And it feels very... I'm trying to think of how to word it. It feels like an accomplishment. It feels really good to have something to do every week that is something I enjoy, but also still feels like I'm being a little bit productive and getting something done besides just things around the house like cleaning and stuff. And probably this talk bores a lot of people or isn't interesting to anybody, but I'm not a huge talker. I honestly could play this game only talking like a few minutes at a time, and then that would be it. But I'm definitely trying to be a lot better about my communication and my talking, so... especially with how I talk, because when you are editing videos of yourself talking, there are so many things that you realize about yourself in your speech, and it's just, it's hard in a way. I've always been the type of person, I don't like listening to myself. I don't like hearing my own voice. Like when I'm playing games online with friends, if I can hear my voice echoing back to me, it bothers me. I've gotten a lot better about it, and it doesn't bother me quite as bad now that I've been editing my videos. But I definitely noticed a lot of things about my speech, especially the way that I talk. It's almost like slow. And I think that's because a lot of times I'm thinking while I'm talking, and I'm trying not to talk ahead of myself, because I do that a lot as well. And then I kind of choke on my words and get my words jumbled up or twisted. So I've really been trying while recording to purposely not do that. And because of that, it's caused me to really take time in between my words to say things, because I'm trying to just slow down and pay attention to what I'm saying. But I get annoyed with myself doing that, so I can only imagine that people watching might also get annoyed with that. So I do apologize, and I think it'll just take time to get used to doing that. I also started my art channel, and I want to be able to make more videos for that as well. Okay. This is like a little bit completely different from what I was just talking about, but when GemGleam wakes up here, pay attention to his information, like panel area, the information that shows up in the top left. Look at how big his health bar is. Does that seem unnatural to anybody else? Like, maybe it's just me, or maybe the UI is a little bit bigger on this computer's monitor, because it is a little bit bigger than my other one. But I feel like that's a really big health bar. And I do think I gave GemGleam some health. I don't think you get a pick. I think when it's like your own pup, I swear that you don't get a pick. I swear that that's like... yeah, offspring of Aragon Heart and Talonhawk. It's not even showing me... oh, right here. Strength, stamina, speed. Yeah. I don't think we get a pick. I think that this is what it naturally is when you're playing a pup from like one of your other gameplay packs. And then with his age, I gave him a few other points, which are these ones. But he had +1 health, +2 speed, -1 stamina, and -2 strength when I started his playthrough. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I swear that that's how this game works. And he's the only wolf that I've ever done this with, because I thought that the pup had to disperse in order for you to play as them. But then I found out that you don't have to wait. And if anyone is curious on how to do that, I'm not going to be able to show you from here, but when you're in the main menu, you can click on the wolf that has the pup that you want to play. And I think they have to be at least a year old, so it has to be, you have to have gone through Young Hunters and stuff. And then there's an option in that wolf's profile, or like when you scroll to that wolf in the like main menu, there's an option to look at their family tree, and then you can go in and select the pup that you want to play, and there's an option with that pup to play as them, and then it makes a save of that wolf, so you can go in and play that wolf on a map if you want. That's how I did it for GemGleam, and he did not disperse from that family at all, so he was still a pup. In fact, if I loaded that game up now, he would still be one of the pups hanging out around at the den site. So everything's been pretty chill. This is kind of weird, but I definitely feel like his health is way too high. Even with that extra point into the health, I still feel like that's pretty high. But maybe I'm just not remembering, or maybe it's because most of my other wolves don't usually have that much health. That's like the only explanation I can come up with. And I can't regurgitate. Where did Calico go? I think she's in the den. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this chunk of meat so that I can feed the pups. And I think I'm gonna have to go eat another bite anyways to like fully feed them all. Oh, maybe not. Okay, this is good. And I don't know what predators we're gonna get right here. I think because it's so open, we'll have eagle attacks, and then probably the typical coyotes and like other wolf packs. But I definitely can't think of anything else that would be up here. I definitely don't think bears would be up here. It's not a very wooded area. So my guess would be like the eagles or the hawks, whatever they are. I don't remember which one, because in real life both of them would take a pup, but I don't remember which one the game does specifically. So cute. I love these two together. Even though their diversity is pretty... Oh, I wanted to do the chin rest. Yeah, their diversity is pretty low, but I honestly love their coats. And I'm super excited to see what the pups look like as they get older. Like I said, I for sure want one of the pups to look like Calico. And then in the future, we can maybe play as that wolf pup when they disperse. Or if they don't disperse, we could make that pup be the one that takes over the pack when GemGleam dies of old age. I guess we could sleep again. I mean, we do need to go out and mark territory probably. Yeah, like up here could be kind of nice. Just to keep it higher. But I definitely would prefer to do that in the morning probably. Everything sounds so peaceful right now. And I don't like how far Siamese is. I'm wondering what the second part of these pups' names should be when the time comes. Hopefully we don't lose any more, but it's very hard to get all of your pups through Young Hunters. I have done it on my personal wolf before, but that was after we had a few pups from other litters that had survived, so we had help protecting the pups and keeping everyone safe. And obviously right now we're just Calico and GemGleam, so... But I'm wondering if the second part of their name should also have like a theme, like how we did CalicoLake. Or if we should do something a little bit different. Or just kind of generic. I have been rereading the Warrior Cat books. I finished the whole first arc of the series like 2 weeks ago about. It was about when I was recording Sparrowwing's other episode. And I loved it. And I want to start reading the second part. Technically I did, but I only read like the first few pages. And I just love it. I really have been missing it, and they've been coming out with new books. So my goal or my plan was to reread from the very beginning until I caught back up, and then I would buy the newer ones. Because the last part of the arc that I have read is the one... I guess I don't really want to give anything away if there's anyone out there that does read the Warrior Cats books and hasn't read it. But, I guess we can regurgitate a little bit. The last series I had read was after they made it to their new area, all of the clans. And anyone who's read the books will know what I'm talking about. But there was kind of like a battle between real life and like the evil cats, the ones that are dead. So if you think like heaven and hell kind of a vibe. And it was like that. It was like a battle between like the cats from hell basically and the cats that were living. It was kind of like that. And that was the last one. I think it was Omen of the Stars. I don't remember all of the like names of the specific sets in the series. But I think it was Omen of the Stars. Either way, it was one of those last two that, well, when I read them, it was like the last one that had came out was that series. And they've added more. I think they've added like 2 more since then. And they're working on another one that they're already, I think, 3 books in. Like they just released the 3rd book, I believe. So I have a lot to catch up on. But that was kind of my plan, because in order to buy the books, I have to be able to read them, and I'd like to reread the whole series. It was a lot of fun reading through the first arc again. There were a lot of things that I thought I remembered that I was wrong about, which was kind of good because it made it exciting and fun to read through again. And then I was also surprised at how much I did remember of the series. And I kind of liked to test myself while I was reading to see what I remembered. So that was really fun. And then of course there was some deaths towards the end that came as a shock because I forgot when they happened and how they happened. So I wasn't expecting them to happen. And I was just as shocked as the first time I read the books, which was pretty cool because that usually doesn't happen. Like playing a game, for instance, it's never the same the first time you play as when you play again later. Ooh. I knew it was going to be eagles. Why are they running out? This is stressful. I don't know why the pups were running away from the den. I think one of the pups was trying to go in, so the rest of them just like ran out or something. I don't know. That was stressful. I thought maybe one of them would get taken away for the first time. I've never had an eagle attack be successful in taking a pup. Ever. I feel like it's one of the easier ones to not have to worry about. I guess we could leave the pups in and try to go mark territory. I know I've been talking a lot this episode, so hopefully you guys don't mind it. I think it's a good way to just kind of get in and see what's kind of going on. And I have like 6 minutes left for my recording, so I guess we can just start to claim territory, and then I guess when my timer goes off, we can just head back to the den. But I definitely don't want to let my territory go too far. Sometimes I will just kind of rush through the game, at least when I'm playing by myself. Obviously this is different because it's a video that I'm recording for YouTube, but when I play by myself, I sometimes will speed up the process of getting, because Young Hunters is my favorite part of the game. It's one of the hardest parts of the game, but it is also one of my favorites, and I just love playing it, so I do try to speed up the time it takes to get there, because it does take a really, really long time. It takes about, I think, 16 hours on like average, I think, just to get from like when you first start in the game till you find your mate and then you have your pups. And obviously, you know, that can be dependent upon like how long it takes you to hunt and things like that, but it definitely takes a long time. So sometimes I speed up that process, and I guess I'll share that for you guys, for anyone who maybe doesn't know how to do that, or if you're like me and you like playing the Young Hunters part. Basically, it's all about sleeping and eating. For the pups, it's all about sleeping and eating. So to get your pups to that first 15-pound mark, if you can get like, I think you need 2 elk carcasses, like full-sized elk carcasses, near your den. Get them as close as you possibly can so you don't have to spend time going out and doing that, like getting the food and bringing it back constantly. Get 2 elk carcasses as close to the den as possible. You can do this right at the beginning if you want. Like as soon as you have pups, you can go out and do this. And then fill yourself up, regurgitate for your pups, and sleep. And every, I think, day cycle, like full day, so you have to sleep twice, I believe, to go through a full like day cycle. And every time you wake up, just go and eat and feed the pups and just repeat that over and over again. Obviously you're still gonna have like predators come and stuff, but I feel like it happens less frequently when you're doing that. But that's basically how it works. So every full day cycle, when you sleep, the pups get hungry, and then you feed them, and their weight goes up by, I think it's a pound every day, or it's like half of a pound or something. I'm not entirely sure. What is this? Bear trap? Keep away? If I go in that, is it gonna close on me? Bears are sure dumb. Danger, keep away. I wonder if I go in there, though. I have to see. Hold on. Okay, I made a backup save. I have to go inside and see. Okay. I didn't think it would close you in, but you never know. Okay. So, yeah. If you're ever wanting to kind of speed up your playthrough, I guess, that will help speed it up quite a bit. And the same goes for all stages of the pups' lives. Even when you're at the rendezvous site, just get as much food at the den site as possible in the beginning, like right from the start. Get it as close as you possibly can to your site, because that prevents predators from coming and eating it, which means that the carcass lasts longer. And if you get it close enough, sometimes the pups can actually go eat from it themselves, because I have had food directly at the den site. It's definitely a lot harder to do, I think, in accurate, because I have noticed that from playing challenging to accurate, I've had a harder time getting my elk to go directly into the den. They usually kind of turn away and change direction when you get them too close. So I've just been taking them down as close as possible. But like I said earlier, sometimes I'll just get them super close and then tear the carcass apart and take all the chunks into the site. I do that for the rendezvous site. I'll get the elk as close as possible, or the deer, whatever. I prefer elk, and I always go for just a cow usually, because they last longer. And I'll just tear a bunch of meat chunks off of the elk. Oops. And I'll take it into the rendezvous site, and I'll have, if you've read the Warrior Cats books, they have like a fresh kill pile. It's kind of like that. I just take all the food towards like the center, or I hide it in the grass. I've actually been hiding it in the grass most of the time. But I just drop all the chunks of meat off in the rendezvous site or wherever I'm at. And you can just hang out there at your site and play with your pups and stuff when you feel like it. You don't have to worry about going out and hunting. And the only thing you have to worry about at all is marking territory. But that honestly only matters if your territory is small. If you have a pretty big territory, you usually can get through. I mean, obviously you can't get all the way through like the pup's life or like year cycle without marking territory, but you can usually do each quest without marking territory. Sometimes people will get large territories before they have their pups on purpose, like extra large territory, just for the purpose of not having to go out and mark territory, because as wolves from rival packs take your territory, they only take like little bits at a time. So some people will purposely get like a huge area of the map just so that all through raising their pups they don't have to mark territory. And essentially you can do what I was just talking about, where you just camp at the den site and fend off, against predators. And the farther in your territory you are, away from other like rival wolf pack territories, the less frequently you'll see rival wolves at your den. So they'll attack you less if you're farther in your territory. Like right here, we're pretty close to the border for the Bannock Ford and the Lost Lake a little bit. So we have a pretty good potential of seeing the Bannock Ford pack coming in to our territory to attack our pups at the den site. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind when you are choosing a den location. I loved this den location, but ideally we would want to take a little bit more territory closer on that Bannockford line, just to help keep them from coming to our den. But I feel like our territory is pretty big, and I would like to keep on top of my territory. I feel like that adds to the gameplay, and I don't always like to just kind of rush through the playing. So it just depends on the day. Some days I really don't want to mark territory, and I will push it until it's pretty depleted, but most of the time I like to try and keep my territory like 50% or more. I have started letting it drop into the 40s and 30s lately, just because it is hard to keep it up that high all the time. Especially in accurate and challenging, it's not so bad, but in accurate, it's definitely hard to keep it at that, like, percentage. But I always try to go for that. So if anyone out there was ever wondering how it's done, that's how it's done if you want to kind of progress a little bit faster and get a little bit farther in the game in a shorter amount of time. I'm definitely going to eat from the carcass really fast. Okay, let's just take a chunk and get back because the pups are going to run away if I don't. That's the one problem with not being able to be close. Or like have the carcass closer. Is that if Calico comes with me, or your mate comes with you, the pups can run away. And we are missing a pup. Let's... Okay. Coon pup is in the den, and they're all males. Okay. So I think that's where we're going to leave it off today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode of GemGleam's playthrough of life. And I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.